Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. And it looks like we're going to have a bright day today. That's enough to cheer anybody up. Okay, yesterday was not a good day. I had a bit of wine, I had a sulk, I had some more wine, and I had a think. That's the important bit. Yesterday's gone, can't be changed. Today is a new day. And with a little bit of help from Anna Maria, who suffered badly from the dreaded F thing, curse, I curse thee. Yeah, so the think is, I can't not share water. I can't get rid of that. That's an impossibility. My little RO unit would never keep up with the volume of plants I've got going into the summer. It cannot be done. But what I can do is a serious damage limitation exercise, which is what I'm going to do now. As I haven't really finished sorting the plants out, now's a good time. And I've now found a use for that shelf down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go round all my plants. Every plant that looks a bit iffy, whether it is or isn't, it's only got to look a bit iffy, is going to get separated out, including the couple that that I did yesterday that I don't want to lose. These two little Miltonias down here. I'm hoping they're going to push on, but they're still they'll have to go in that iffy categorization. But any plant that looks a bit iffy is going to get separated out there, so that it's not near anything else. Any drips that come off the pots can go on the floor, etc. Separation is the key, and they can be watered from a separate container. So if they're a bit iffy, they're just going to stay a bit iffy at the end of the day. These two will always be separate now. It'll be years before I treat them any differently than just giving them some separate water. And, it's easy to do, really, because they can just get watered with the last little bit of water before I change it, if you see what I mean. If I do it with the first bit, then if there's anything comes off of those plants, it goes straight on to the next one, potentially. A little bit of work I did. One has to do a bit of work. I don't know, I wish the camera would pick up those sparkly bits. I bet it doesn't. They're really sparkling today. Sidetracked. Fusarium has to get into a plant before it can do some damage. And I always step back and question. And the question is, well, how does it get in there then? These start out as spores. Well, to travel anywhere, they've got to be airborne, haven't they? Unless something or somebody helps them, then those spores are in the air. So whether we like it or not, they're just around in the air. They're out in our fresh air. We're probably breathing some in every now and again. They're on the wild plants. They're about. Now, my little air cleaner is probably doing a pretty good job at sorting out airborne things. What I can't do is stop it coming in on new plants. And it's like I've said before, how long do you quarantine a new plant? Bearing in mind, this can live in a plant for several years before it even shows any signs. So obviously to quarantine against this can't be done. You'd have to keep every plant separate forever, almost. So that's a no-no. But what I can do is I've adjusted the way I water. I know I share water, but I limit that quite a lot now. And I only mix up feed and things like that, although they're getting a lot more flushes nowadays. And I only use small amounts at a time, so I don't get through many plants and I have to replace the water. I mean, I used to fill my bowl right up to the top and water the whole greenhouse with that one set of water with its appropriate feed in. Well, I don't do that and haven't been doing that for quite a while now. In fact, I sort of stopped doing that quite a while ago. So I only use small amounts at a time, so only a few plants get to share that bit of water, then I refresh it. So that's damage limitation in itself. But yeah, I'm going to go through all my plants today as a process of categorization. and anything that looks iffy is going to get separated, and then that can just be watered separately until I can do such a test as, you know, like when I come to repot, there's always an old pseudo bulb has to come off here and there, so I can get at them then and prove it one way or the other. And if, you know, if at some point in the future that plant was just a weak plant but it's clean, then it can go back in with the other plants. But until such time as then, every iffy plant, I mean, here's a classic example here. This Cattleya is not a happy bunny. Now, I'm probably only keeping this to get through those blooms, but that's an iffy plant. That tiny little Brassolalia Cattleya up the back doesn't look as strong as perhaps it should be. So, you know, that can be classed as an iffy plant. The rest of the cats are okay, although there is a big one up the back looks a bit dodgy. So that's it. That's the sort of rationalisation. I've got back bulbs divisions here that don't look very good. But, you know, could you believe that a plant with Fusarium can chuck out a root system like that? I'd find it highly unlikely. But look how many back bulbs that plant's got. I can take one of those off without doing any damage to that plant, just to check. And then it either comes out clean or it doesn't. Any I find that are infected that are not special are just going out. They're not worth the risk. So that's my little exercise for today. Give me a bit of something to do. And, do you know, I'm bordering on thinking this may be the first day of the year where the mounts get watered on 2 consecutive days. I'm just going to go and check the weather forecast. If we're forecast to have sun all day, no, it's not warm enough. No, they can wait till tomorrow. Everything got done yesterday, so they can wait. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. It's just damage limitation, that's all it is. But, you know, when you have a bad day, the easy way to get over that is to follow it with a good day and be positive. So we could be positive by looking at what I've got and looking at what's working well for me. And there is a lot. In fact, most of it is. And the odd little bit that's a bit suspect can just be separated out now while I think of it, get it done, and then just keep those separate until such time as I can prove one way or the other whether they are iffy and going out or just a bit weak and will recover and can come back in with the rest of the plants. So there we go. That's probably, I'm going to do a bit of repotting later on. I can't do it at the moment and film it because the washing machine's going. I can't even hear myself talk, let alone you hear it. But yeah, I've got a couple of repots to do later on. And we'll see how we get on. But that's my first exercise of the day. Sort these plants out and shuffle them around accordingly. Okay, see you again later. Thanks for dropping by. There must be something else I can just show before I leave. Oh yeah. Let's brighten everybody's day up. I keep showing the same blooms, but when they're as good as that, you know, most of those blooms are open now. I'm surprised they all came at once. Absolutely smashing. And what can you do but be pleased when you've got something like that? And something like this busying itself away and coming out all over the place and things like that. Things to be pleased with. Yeah? Don't get down with your orchids. It's a hobby. It's not the end of the world. And there's always some bright sides to everything. See you in a bit then. Bye for now.